Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast, hosted right here at the Rail. You can kind of see the sign back there. But yeah, we're on episode 127. This is the second episode of 2025. And I had to get my mans on here because DJ, who y'all know helps run Noise Route with me, has been talking about this man nonstop. Like, I think he's in love with you. Like, I think you know that, right?
You know what's funny, though? I sent him an email in 2022 for an event y'all were hosting.
What? Really?
I did, and it was I forget what event it was. I was like, wait a minute, it was this morning where I was like, let me type in Noise on my emails. So it was the email you sent me, and then I scrolled down a little bit. It said 2022 Daniel. I was like, what did I email this guy about?
So it must have been for Chill Sounds. It must have been for Chill Sounds. So like the name of this podcast is Chill Sounds and Breakdowns, and it spawned after a festival that we made. It was like a mixed genre festival, and we wanted to have like local food vendors and stuff like that. So that must have been, and that if it was 2022, that's before. Oh no, that's.
I think it was sometime in the summer where that email was from. But
it
was like a $50 vendor fee, and he said like we're still sorting through all the lists. And then that was it. I was like, I guess I didn't make the cut back in 2022.
Dude, I don't even know how DJ handles a lot of like the booking and stuff like that for
my guy, though.
Yeah, dude, it's great. Yeah, but first of all, I mean, we did a little intro, but like, if you want to like tell us who you are really quick and like what you.
I'm your friendly neighborhood wingman, Fluff. You know, I run a food trailer out here in the DFW area, mainly Fort Worth. You know, I love staying local to where we're at. I just hate hauling the trailer, man. Hauling the trailer is really scary, man.
Yeah. Well, I saw something that you posted the other day where it's like you really would like to like branch out a little more, but like the trailer like is hella low. Like it's super low.
The trailer is heavy. Like empty, it's about 7,500 pounds, and we're hauling it with the 2002 Ford F-150 base. So it wasn't even meant to haul it. I had my cousin who's a backyard mechanic. He installed one of those aftermarket ones where like you hook it up to your light sensors, and you know it's there, so you can haul like a little mini trailer where you throw logs in, right? But I'm using it to haul a fucking food trailer.
Shit, man. It's kind of like that. It's just a hustle mentality, man. Like if you got to get it done, like you'll figure out like with what you have, like to get it done. I bring that up a lot, like with the idea of like. People who like say a lot of the time was like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I don't have this, I don't have that type of mentality. And everybody that I see like make something of themselves, like just figured it out whatever the fuck like they could find.
It's funny you say that because my first weekend that I was doing it out of those comales that you use to make tacos. You know where there's like that, there's aceite in the middle.
Oh yeah. Wait, the round ones. The ones that are like on those, they had like a little like dip in the middle. Really?
I was using that to fry chicken, and I had. No, the fire was going continuously to the point where like the oil burned. Like, something's not right here.
It's the reason people probably don't do it.
Yes, that's the reason people don't do it like that. So,
but you did it though. Was that like? Wow. So was that like your first like event or first time you were like posting up to do it?
Doing it in my mom's front yard.
So you just posted up in the front yard?
I was posted in the front yard. I advertised it on Facebook, Snapchat to like 80 people that saw my stories. Yeah. And I had a handful of people come out there. Some people had a bad first experience that I've never saw again.
Really?
And I was like, oh man, I still think about it until this. I have like a little drawer where I wrote down everybody that ordered, but I didn't write down all the info. I think that the part where I did write down the information just got lost somewhere moving around. But I have the first orders that I ever took on there. And I was like, I really want those first people to come back.
So give me another chance.
I promise I'm different now, man.
I'm different now.
I'm better.
I've changed, baby. Yeah.
Like the fries were all stale. Like I was hand cutting them too, and like you're supposed to blanch fries so they don't get all like grayish.
Oh yeah.
And so they got gray fries. I was like, oh man,
but
this ass.
I mean that sucks, but like you went for it. So I guess take me back to that. Like so. Have you just like cooking all the time, or was there was something like kind of inspired that?
I had, you're a Mexican, you have a big family, right? You go out to eat, you got to get something. If you get something for yourself, you got to get something for everybody. Yeah. And I was like, man, I don't want to get stuff for everybody. So I just ended up going to Walmart, got a fucking pack of frozen wings and a tabletop fryer. You know those one. Plug into the wall and like a little jug of oil and throw them in there. I had no idea you had to thaw chicken before. I thought you could just put it in there, and then, all right, cool.
Almost burned the house down.
I'm just waiting. Not even. I just got oil all over the counter.
Okay.
And I was like, well, these wings are ass. And then, slowly progressing, I was like, all right, I think I'm figuring this out. And then, friends would come over like, no, just keep your money. I got this. And then, and then slowly progressing to doing it better. And then to the point, hey, you cooking this weekend? I'm like, I could. Just throw me a little chicken money.
Yeah. So it started off really just like you wanted to cook for yourself so you can make your own food and pick whatever you want. Like you wanted to eat and not have to worry about like, getting stuff for everybody.
I want to save money too, man, because
that's true. Yeah.
I think this is peak pandemic time when I started doing this. So,
okay. So like 2020, 2021?
Yeah, 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was kind of like been stuck at home for a minute.
So like the friends that would come over, they're like, all right, cool, we're here. Might as well do something. They can't really go out there. Mm-hmm. There's not much to do. So we were kind of like the being stuck kind of like brought something anew,
Yeah. So it was just, that's kind of cool. So it was like with bringing your friends kind of together and like your close people, mm-hmm. like, which I've seen like you're following, and it feels like you still have like some of those like same people like still like rolling up to the truck and stuff like that. Like
it was around the time that we got the stimmy, right? So a lot of people weren't working, and I was working the whole time. So I was just like, this is extra money. So I got my mom's Restaurant Depot card that she borrowed from a friend, mm-hmm. and with that I got the big ass comal. I got my first case of wings, fries, some sauces that they had there, and we had our first wing day. And to this day, I don't even have my own personal Restaurant Depot card. I'm using a Panaderia's Restaurant Depot card.
So just to explain to me, I'm kind of getting the gist of it, but Restaurant Depot cards that like that specific place where you go like pick up the large quantities and like the industrial kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So you're still using? Is it the same one that you used that first time?
Same one.
Damn, for work.
I should switch it over for tax reasons or stuff like that. I'm still figuring that stuff out too.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like how it really got started.
Really,
with,
just like
borrowing stuff and having a little bit of extra cash trying to flip. Mm-hmm. Because that too, I wanted the money to last too. With that stimmy money, it was nice. So that extra, we got $1,500 from that, right?
I think so.
That was about that. I was like, man, can I double this or can I triple this? I didn't triple it.
I wish I had your mentality. I went straight for the big ass TV. Like DJ and I went like straight. We got our money and went straight to the fucking store and bought like a 75-inch TV that we like barely used. I think during the pandemic we used it because we were hanging out in the living room and stuff like that. But as soon as like life got back to whatever, like nobody hung out in the living room. Damn. So it was just like there or whatever. But yeah, I've heard a lot of stories like that where like out of the pandemic people like kind of just had that time to be like, well, let's fucking just do something. You know what I mean? Like there's an opportunity, like let's try it. But also like the thing about when you try something new like this, like, it started off as, I don't know if you had a vision immediately where like, yeah, I'm going to take this far. And mostly it sounds like you were like, I'm just going to start cooking, like, because it's fun. And then we just wanted to.
I was also kind of, so there was me and my girlfriend at the time, there was a dude who would be selling wings from his backyard. Right? His name's Francisco Galindo. Shout out to the original wingman. So he basically did it. I was basically copying the way he was doing it, but using different type of gear. But on the weekends, he'd post on Snapchat that his menu and swipe up to order, and then he'll give you a time. And we got tired of going to Wingstop and A&D's. Those were my go-to spots to get wings.
Yeah.
Back then, and then fast forward a little bit, he stopped doing it. I was like, no, I need my fix.
I got my wingman.
Where is he?
start itching.
And then I had to take matters to my own. He did it, and then he did it like from time to time. But I did feel kind of bad, like, man, I don't want to steal your thunder because we had like the same kind of friend group.
Oh,
like,
okay.
We went to high school together.
Okay.
So I was like, man. So in a way, I waited for the right time. Like, do I have your blessings to do this?
So you actually like, so you were friends and you talked to him.
He was my wingman. Yeah. So
I feel. I mean, it is obviously like there's a competition aspect to it, but there's a certain feeling like when you inspire somebody to do something, like they're doing it because of you. Like I feel like on one end, like you gotta be happy, like, oh shit, like someone's picking something up, someone's cooking, like because they were coming to my spot and saw me doing it, kind of thing. I think in like a lot of aspects, like people see that, and it's just kind of nice to be like, that's crazy. Like I've, as wild as it is to me, like I've had like 2 people like make podcasts because they were like, I saw you were doing it, and I'm like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? It was like, I didn't know anybody was like paying attention like that. I was like, I'm just doing it because it's fun. You know, I like doing it. But yeah, you never know like who's like watching. Like in this case, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like, yeah, I'd like to do that. And then you pick it up and do it. How long does it take for you to make the transition of like, you're doing it every weekend, maybe making like a little bit of money, like with your friends or who's coming over, to like, I'm gonna switch this to like an actual business opportunity?
At the time, I was still in the military. I was in the Marine Corps Reserves, right?
Oh, okay. Thank you for your service, man.
The way it works is basically one weekend out of the month you're going. Well, my unit was over in Abilene, so that basically I'd drive all the way from. I clock out of work, then get my uniforms and shit, and drive 2-3 hours over there to base, and that was my weekend. You know, I was their little tool bitch. I was a mechanic.
Okay.
I didn't really do any mechanic shit, dog. I was just, you know, passing stuff on, standing around waiting for nothing.
Yeah.
I loved my time in the military, but that took up a lot of my time. 2 weeks out of the year, we'd do our training, and then another 2 weeks for like rifle qualifications and all that. So it took a lot of my free time, vacation time. I didn't get paid like from work. I had to use my own personal days off. So whenever I did have time, it was like a nonstop work week. You know, from Monday, then my military stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. Finally, I got a break. I can whip something up in the backyard, and then back to work the next day. So
you just like spare time, like at the beginning, and then right now, I mean, I see you pop up like at different spaces. So is it still on like that type of schedule where you're just like figuring out where to place it? Is it something you're like aiming towards? Like,
I want to have a permanent spot just so I don't have to haul the trailer.
Yeah.
But I see the thing about me is I see someone doing better than me. I'm like, fuck, they're not thinking about me, but I'm thinking about them. They're living in my mind. They're living in my head rent free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's some people we started at around the same time, and I'm thinking, all right, man, they're doing really good. What can I do to keep up? And that's kind of like where I'm trying to get just people to know that I exist.
Yeah.
And that's where like the videos start coming in. Back then, the Instagram algorithm was, so long as you posted every single day, you know, it pushed it out to people. And then, you know, as time progressed, it kind of changed up to like you had to please the algorithm, the almighty algorithm.
Yeah, man. One thing I did go through like your content and stuff, and then that's kind of what like caught my attention. I think I saw one first, and then like DJ told me about you, and I can't remember exactly what. I think you were making a series of like videos for like Liquid Death, like trying to get Liquid Death. But it was just, and then I went down like the rabbit, because like that's what I do. So like in Noise Raw, like I like handle a lot of like the content building, but that's what I like looking at. So like I'm the one that always loves like certain like trends that are coming out, like what trends like should fit us, like what trends don't, or what's something that you think would be fun. And then like a lot of it is, and then you notice like the stuff that you don't like, because I'm like, oh, I don't like the cookie cutter shit where like someone exactly copies like somebody else. Like at a certain point, there's got to be something like of you in the content. And a lot of the shit that you put out, like I feel like I was getting to know you like with just like the silly videos. I'm like, oh, okay, this dude's fun. Like this is like silly,
just today, I posted a picture of food. Right, it got 13 likes. Right, but then I had one viral video. It got to like 13 million. It was just like a little throwaway. It's like just, I was telling a story. Not even a story. It was just like a little snippet of how I got scanned by my old high school baseball team. Yeah. They one of the dudes got he was the announcer for the team, and we're cool. We're still cool. He's like, hey man, they're having a senior night. You think you can cater X amount of wings? It was like 300 wings. Like, yeah, man. And then the coach said he'll put your banner out in the outfield. I was like, oh, that's gonna be so fucking baller. You know, I was already thinking of like all the videos I can make to flex that. Yeah. But I dropped off the food, and then, you know, it was like a handshake deal. So it was a third person handshake deal, right? Oh yeah, because he was doing it on behalf of somebody else. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, his word is bond. You know. And then come the summer, it's like, okay, maybe they're going to wait till the season starts, you know, coming up. Then never saw the banner, and they're like, okay, I got hoed. Damn, did you ever bring it up to him again? I brought it up once, and we kind of just brushed it over. I was over it already. Yeah. And Man, 300 wings. That's about.
That sounds expensive.
It's expensive. How much? I'm trying to remember how much I spent. To me, I spent about $250 in like in product, you know.
Yeah.
But that would have been like $800 that they would, if they would have paid.
Yeah.
It would have been $800.
Product and like the time it took to do all that shit. You know what I mean?
But that's the one that got it. That's like, I think if you look at it right now, it's like the most viral video that I got pinned as my little flex.
Yeah, I think I did see that one. And I think I saw another one. It might have been referencing that where people are like, "Oh, can I order this shit ton of stuff and like pay when I get there?" It's like, no, like
it's
like, yeah, prepay shit. Damn, that fucking sucks. But it's crazy. Y'all still cool. It's like, oh, whatever. It's kind of whatever thing.
This is like,
I guess it's kind of, it's kind of cool to like get over it. But yeah, that does suck. It's kind of scumbaggy.
I was just upset. I was like, man, I could have used that money for something. I could have made my own banner.
Yeah, and it probably sucks more because you were already, like you were saying, like I already visualized exactly what I'm doing with this. So like having plans for exactly like what you're gonna do to promote, and then like, oh, it's just none of that was real.
Then
like,
you ever lose money and just like think of all the things you could have done with it.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. That's why
even today I'm still thinking, man, could use that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but content, like you're talking about, like pleasing the algorithm and stuff like that. That's the weirdest fucking thing to figure out. Like, and I get the only consistent thing that I see a lot is this conversation where people are just always like, oh, why is it when I like work really hard on a video, like no one gives a fuck, and then like when I do something like you're saying, like a little throwaway video, like it pops off, and I cannot figure that out. Like there's just the only thing in common that I see is like this authenticity to be like, oh, the throwaway videos are the ones that like you don't care about, so there's nothing to like adjust, there's nothing to tweak to make perfect. You just like set it out like it is. And I feel like people just like are attracted to that. Like, you know what? I don't know if you've seen this, like, but it's been everywhere for me. This is like this lady who's like been singing this fucking SpongeBob song.
What?
It's just like, it's a song that someone made, like using AI to like do the voices or whatever. It's like a trap song that someone made with like SpongeBob shit. And she's just like singing it acoustically, and it fucking like popped off. But like I saw another guy talking about it, and he's like, there's a simple like thing that you can like, people can analyze this and tell you whatever. Like the only thing it is that this is a video that someone would not post. Like it's one of the ones that they would be like, this is stupid, I'm not gonna put it out there. And he's like, the only thing to learn from that is just like post the stupid shit, like, or post the stuff that you don't think is gonna do well, because there's a lot of things in like overworking things over and over.
Like, what's like your earliest moment of trying to like put yourself out there on the internet?
My early, like just in general, like shit, man.
General, like you get your first hands on computer access to YouTube.
The first thing that I put out, or the first thing? Oh, the first thing that I put out was I think in high school, like I was making just like videos. I think there's like some of like me playing like guitar in my room, like electric, like me and my friends are playing there, or like there's like skit type stuff that I try to do. There's one, and it's still out there. I don't even have like the access to this YouTube channel anymore. So ain't shit I can do about it. So people find it if people find it. But like we made a thing called Gaia Fighter, which is like a Street Fighter parody, and it's just like my friends that are like today is like one of my favorite things I've ever made. It's just because it's stupid, like it's fun. Like we planned it out, and we were like at a playground and stuff, and just like fighting and shit like that everywhere. But like it cuts to like different scenes from different angles and stuff like that. And it's I don't know if you've ever like seen it or remember, but it's something called a flip camera. It was like this big.
Yes.
And it flipped over, had a USB drive or whatever. Yeah, I had that, and I was like, to me, I was like, this is the fucking greatest.
That's the key, though.
I was like, this is badass. I'm like, that's when like I started realizing like, oh, portable. Like it's got to, like I got to be able to like pull it out, like shoot something. Like I like that idea. And this is before like, I guess really like camera phones are really that good. So you did need something separate or whatever. Now like everyone can do shit, whatever on your phone. But yeah, I was like that idea of like, oh, being able to make something. And then that was the first time I borrowed a computer to like edit. So like fucking shitty at this, but it took me like 2.5 hours to edit like this. It might be like a 2-minute clip.
Then like,
and I was just like cutting stuff, but that's when I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like,
then like another 4 hours for it to upload,
to render and then upload, and I'm just like, oh my god, like
how do people
whatever.
do this?
Yeah, but that was one of my like earlier stuff where that was like with my high school friends, and then my next probably endeavor was like I got into Vine when Vine was a thing, and that was because the thing I liked about that is that nobody I knew followed me, so I'm like I could just post whatever, you know what I mean, and like join. And that was the first time I felt like part of in like online community or something, or like I know some strangers on the internet or whatever, and then we were like make stuff, and most of it I would make stuff to make myself laugh.
There's my old channel still out there, where my pre-pubescent voice, Flavio 01ish. It's just like your name and whatever YouTube generated with, and I remember the password to where like okay only whereas you set it to my eyes only.
Oh yeah.
And one of them was one of the videos that my friends bring up every now and then is whenever we put icing on a couch and like, oh, what's this? And we're trying to see it. And it looked like it was nut.
Oh.
I was like, oh, man, please don't bring that up anymore. But it's still out there.
Yeah.
One day I feel when I get the courage, and despite all the stuff I post right now, I feel like people seeing my prepubescent like antics is like it's a little bit more embarrassing than.
I think that's why like part of me hasn't taken that down, because I'm at this point I'm like, if someone finds it, you earned it, buddy. Like you earned to watch the shit. But that's another thing I had to kind of like get over, is like being kind of like it is embarrassing sometimes, like the stuff you make and things like that. But I was like, I made it though, you know what I mean? Like I did that, like so. And then after that, like during the pandemic, actually right before the pandemic, I wanted to start vlogging. I saw like a creator that was just like doing vlogs with his friends, and I'm like, that seems fun as fuck. I go, it seems fun. I need to get out the house, and I've always wanted to do something on YouTube. And just I've never like stuck it out.
I was listening to the last podcast where you were talking about how you and DJ kind of basically found out how to make beats together off YouTube, or mixing it together.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, man, this is pretty cool. How so I always envy people who don't realize that, or that have like a talent to just go out there and really do something that they like, they enjoy.
It's hard to really like pay attention to it, because like my friend Dizzy Davis, who's an artist and also runs like a company, like a huge company. He's the one that always like, it's always the voice that I hear in my head that reminds me of that, where I'm just like, this is easy. You know what I mean? It's not like anything complicated. So when people try to compliment it, like I'm weird as fuck, or I'm like, it's like, what are you talking about? Like it's simple. You could do this too. And then he's like, he like stopped me once. He's like, I don't know how to fucking do any of that shit, like, or get started on it. Like you have like a skill set, and I'm like, and then like I have to remind myself, like I do. You know what I mean? Like I do at some point, like understand a degree, like. But again, on the other flip of the other coin, it's like I don't know nearly like enough, like to be like to think that I'm like an expert or anything like that, or think that I'll ever stop learning, because there's new shit like coming up. Like the stuff that I took like forever to do, like kids like growing up do it like fucking like that now. You know what I mean? Like they're learning like quick shit. So I try to like just learn. I'm very like learn as I go. So I like learn enough to do what I want to do. Like if I want to change something up, I'm like, I need to learn how to do that. And then I learn how to do that. But I don't like elevate past that. You know what I mean? I learn because like I lose all that information. Like my brain just doesn't like hold on to it.
Like a data dump.
Yeah. Like it's gotta like, I gotta put it in practice. Like I gotta be doing this like on a daily, weekly, in order for me to be like, okay, like this makes sense to me. If I just like book learn it, like it's not gonna stay in there. You know, I'm gonna forget. But I've always been that way. Like I learn enough to like do something. And like that vlog, like I used to be the type where I get a new hobby and I'm like, I need to buy all the shit for it, like right now, you know? And then like in a few weeks, I'm like, I don't like this, or I stop caring about it because I have all this stuff and it's not where it needs to be or where I want it to be immediately. So I used to always give up on stuff like that. So like the vlog was my first thing where I was about to buy something and then I was like, you know what? I have a fucking phone. I think at the time, like it was like the iPhone 11 that just came out. And I was like, if I can't do this shit with this, like, I don't want to do it. Like, just plain and simple. I go, because you can edit on your fucking phone. Like, you can shoot stuff, and it looks great. I go, so if I don't want to fucking do it with this, then, you know, it's not meant to be.
Shout out to CapCut.
Yeah, shout out to CapCut. First, that's a fucking baller one right now. Like, it helps out to make you do simple shit.
That's what I do for pretty much everything. If it's not just like text on Instagram, it's like, all right, let me splice this together on CapCut, and makes it way easier, and I can finish it in like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
kind of like
again, because that's the thing you have with you. Yeah.
Where DJ hit me with the chair. You saw that?
That's the reason when I see the fucking voice you start doing with the wrestling voice, I fucking love that shit.
So my brother is really into wrestling right now, and you know, one thing I always want to do, I want my brothers to think I'm cool, right? So that's kind of the reason why. Part of the main attribute to why I wanted to be a Marine and why like you're being the older sibling, you want them to look up to you. It's like, man, you know what would be really cool if I become a pro wrestler. Yeah, because he's into pro wrestling right now, and he's fucking 24. But I'm talking like he's like a little kid,
little chamaco dude.
But I was like, okay, this is with the promotion. I'm thinking, all right, let me get into character. So I started watching all the greatest moments in like WWE history, and the one I kind of like took the most from was Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar. I was like, I'm an addict, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get my high with that belt around my waist. And then it just cuts off to like the soul fight. I was like, oh man, this got me hype. All right, let's do this.
That's cool. How many siblings do you have?
I have, let's see, Kevin, Brian, Brianna, and Paloma. Those are my 4 direct siblings, and I think I have a couple siblings I don't really know that like in Mexico. One lives somewhere in the north side. Gotcha. I think his name is Mikey. But yeah, those 4 siblings
so there is you being the eldest, right? Mm-hmm. So there is like a little bit of that pushing to like why you do the stuff that you do. Wendy, did you go into the Marine Corps like right after?
I think like a year after high school.
Year after high school. Yeah. What inspired that decision?
A girl.
Really?
A girl. Yeah. She joined the Marines first, and like I'm not gonna let this chick emasculate me. I don't know. She's not gonna be wearing the pants in the relationship.
Yeah.
So she goes through the whole boot camp thing. I'm writing her letters. Mm-hmm. Like, that's already kind of like cringe about it. We talked here and there. That's adorable.
That's cute, man. Come on.
So go through the recruiter office, and the recruiter's looking at me. This sucker. They already know because they see it play out all the time where like relationships don't even last a lot in the military. But we ended up breaking up while she was. I still haven't even gone to boot camp yet, and I was like, you know what? I could back out right now. And then my recruiter was like, yeah, you'd be a real bitch if you backed out. And I was like, all right, I'm sold.
How many fucking like people have done shit just because they've been called a bitch?
Exactly, man.
I always think about like it doesn't take much. Sometimes they're like, oh fuck, I'm
Shout
not
out
a
to Mama Goose. She came out to my grand opening too, so I still talk to my recruiter. She's awesome. She's like she's an awesome older sibling. If I had to put her like as a role model, she's amazing, man.
Do you think that like your time? How long were you in the?
I was in the military for 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Do you think that? What kind of takeaways did you take from that? Do you think it helped in some point?
I would not do it again, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
I made so many great friends. My initial job was to be a mechanic, right? So all right, cool. I can at least bring this out. Like when I get out, I can be a mechanic in the real world. But I didn't really take the initiative to learn the job. I was like, let's just go with the flow, you know? Mm-hmm. Like it was looking back on it right now. My reason for not going all in on something is the fear of failure, right? So a lot of the time you have people it's like, man, people who won't win at something is like because I wasn't trying, you know?
Oh yeah. So that hits a little core because I've been that person a lot of times where I'm like, oh, and sometimes I catch myself still doing that. It's like, oh, you know, I felt like I've done this like even like when I was like in school and like every grade was like it was easy for me, and I was like, and I'm not even putting effort. Like I always found that fascinating. It's like I'm not even trying, and it's fucking easy.
Right.
But it instills that idea. I was like, oh, if I try, I'm gonna fucking kill it. So whenever that shit didn't happen, I would fucking be like, well, I'm not gonna fucking do it at all or whatever. Or I'm gonna use the excuse that I'm gonna half-ass something so that I can be like, well, if it doesn't work out, it's like, well, it didn't work out, you know, because I wasn't even trying that hard, you know. So for me, I think it was like, so it won't hurt like as much like if I fail. I'm like, oh, I'm not, you know.
And I wasn't really like to a lot of things. It was applied to. I had a couple of cool jobs that would have been badass. I was a volunteer firefighter for Edgecliff, and the same principle applied. I wasn't giving it my full effort. I was going through EMT school, failed that because I was trying to juggle that and the military stuff all together. Relationship kind of failed too because I wasn't giving it my all either. I was really leaning on like all the negative shit that was going on in life, just bitching and moaning about any little thing.
Yeah,
like, man, if I just had a break, I just gotta catch a break.
Yeah, and then I think I've been in that spot where I have that mentality, or it's like if I just had this one thing, like everything would like solve itself. But I find myself ignoring like all like the other like breaks that I've caught like in the moment. Like it's like I've had like plenty of opportunities, like, and the people who, you know, I admire and that succeed, and then I'm just like, that's who I want to like be like push through those moments, or just like you know, there's always a reason why you can't or won't be able to like try something or do something, but like you got to just give it a shot. And again, the once you get past like a fear of failure, which is tough, you know, it's real tough, you discover like certain shit. Like this was, because I feel like I talk about this so much, but I used to have this thing like really bad where I would come up with ideas, and then I would say that, like, I would tell you, like, hey, I have this idea, like, I really want to do this and that. And you'd be like, that's fucking tight, dude. You can do it. I wouldn't do it anymore because I already got what I wanted from it, which was, like, somebody telling me that was a good idea. You know what I mean? It's the same thing if I would have came up with the idea for Uber and just been like, oh, yeah, that's badass, do it. And I'm like, you know, whatever, you know, and then just be like, oh, the idea was good, you know? And, like, the podcast kind of happened like that because it happened before Noise Rot was a thing. DJ was doing Chill Sounds and Breakdowns, too. And he was asking me for help, and he's like, well, you know, what can we do to help promote this? I was like, I got you, dude. Like, I just started listening to podcasts. I'm like, I'll do a podcast for you. Like, you know, we'll name it the same thing as the festival. I'll talk to a few of the people, you know, the bands or artists like working the festival. It's like 6 of them. It was like 6 weeks until the fest. And I'm like, I'll do 6 episodes, one a week. I got you.
What's your favorite podcast that you're listening to right now?
Favorite one?
Yeah.
I've kind of stopped listening to podcast. The only one I like ever reflect back to is like if I need to like spend some time is like it's a podcast called Last Podcast on the Left, and they just talk like serial killer, murder shit or crime shit. And I'm just like, oh, okay, it's just enough to pass the time. What really and like depending on what like where you're at, like a lot of people give me shit. Or, like the reason like that inspired it was I was starting to get into the Joe Rogan podcast, and people are like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I was just listening. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I like these comedians. Like, and I'm getting to hear them talking and like actors and stuff like that. But the thing that I liked and what inspired it is, I go, dude, these people are just fucking like talking, and he's getting to talk to all these like really cool people, and that's what attracted me. I was like, that's fucking cool. Like, and they're just talking like normal. I go, it's not like I don't have a questionnaire. Like, I'm not like these are the questions I'm gonna ask you. It's not like late night TV where you know that all that shit feels like it's staged or rigged. It doesn't feel real, like or genuine. That's what it felt like to me. It felt real. Like I'm so fucking tired of
to do something. Whenever we were doing it from the backyard, I was like, you know what? It'd be cool. We do our own version of Hot Ones, but it'd be too loud, and then it'd be so dark, and then again we'd be doing it from an iPhone. Yeah. So there's we tried recording it, then like the iPhone would cut off, and we didn't realize it.
Oh, dude. So and that's the type of shit that like makes you feel like really bad. Because I've still had stuff like that. I remember the first time I had a friend helping me with like lights and stuff like that. Like these are all because he ended up selling them to me, but he had them first. It's my friend Bert, and they brought them over. They set them all up, and it looked fucking fantastic. And I'm like, this looks fucking great. And the first time I had to do it by myself, set all them bitches up like the day before. I'm like, I'm good to go, man. I need to check, blah, blah, blah. We're good. Did the whole podcast. They were fucking off the whole time. I don't know how the fuck did I not notice that they weren't on? I mean, we were in a room, so the light was on, but like I went back and looked at like the footage, and the cameras are set, like their settings are set for like the lights to be on. Yeah. So everything was like super dark. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I am fucking like, and I'm paranoid. Like,
baby.
Yeah, I had one where I had 2 mics already set up on the thing, and they were all connected to the computer already. So I'm just like, I just moved one out of the way, gave one to the guy. Didn't check them to see if they were, I'm like, they're already set up, like it's fine. And the ones I had recording was my mic, and then the one that was put away, like the one that was out of range. So like the dude's talking the whole time, and it's like barely recording because it's way over there. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? But like little moments like that is when I start getting relaxed, and where I'm like, oh, you know, who cares? Like how it is. And then it like brings me back. I'm like, nah, you can't. Again, it goes back to that. You can't half-ass this shit. Like if you want it to be good, if you want it to reflect like something that you give a shit about, like if you want someone to support you, but you don't support yourself, or you don't give it the effort that it deserves, like no one's gonna give a fuck, dude. Like, or you know, if they do, like, it's gonna go away so quickly because you're not even paying attention to like how you present your product or whatever you want to put out. You know what I mean? So it definitely checks me a lot in moments like that. But yeah, like I got lucky. Like I think I had a camera when we started the podcast, and like I borrowed one from a friend. But like the mics, like I was lucky. DJ had like a shit ton of mics just lying around. So like they were all mismatched. We were in the living room and like the apartment on the couches. But again, it was that attitude. It's like if you want to do it, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And you start and you.
When we got the trailer, I was like, all right, you know what would be cool if we just Twitch streamed like our whole day being open. But I tried that on our mock opening, and it was just too hot in the trailer. Even having it slightly above eye level, holding the phone slightly above eye level, it would give you the intense
overheating,
the overheat warning.
Yeah.
So that's how hot that thing was. Like, all right, well that kind of we can scrap that idea out. Then I tried doing customer interactions, but it's kind of weird when you have a phone in your face. Like, this is not genuine at all, man.
Yeah, like it's really hard to get those. So we started doing like last year content for some other bands and like some just like festivals and stuff like that. And one of the things that people, it wasn't even like people enjoy. Like I was enjoying was like I was seeing all these people do those street interviews, and I'm like, that's kind of tight. Like I go, I'm pretty sure we can pull that into like music and stuff like and make it relevant. But getting people to participate, was hard. So what I would do is I would get like one of my friends to participate, and then people would see that like they're doing it and like it was like fun or whatever. So then like I would all I had to do, like I had to be like a damn fucking like shark with this shit. So I saw someone like glance over and be like slightly interested as soon as I was done, and I was like, you're already there. He's like, no, I want to do this. Like, it's quick, like blah, blah, blah. Like, I go, give me like a minute, give me a minute and we'll shoot something really easy and doing stuff like that. But bro, getting comfortable with that shit with like strangers is tough as fuck. Like it's really hard, but it's one of the things that I've gotten good at. That again, it's one of those things that I don't think about. So now when I think about doing it, because I just did it for an artist, and we were trying to do street interviews, but they wanted to do it specifically for them. So I was just cameraman.
Like right off the bat, one thing I would say about you and DJ is like you guys are really approachable type of people. Like right, when you walked in, I was like, oh man, this guy, I can kick it with this guy. Yeah. And even DJ, he's a bartender, so he's like autopilot, a people's person. Yeah. But that's another thing that me and my brother had to like figure out, because I feel like I'm not really an approachable person at the window. So I was like, all right, I'm putting a mask on to make people feel comfortable. Hey, I was kicking it. What are we in the mood for today? Or I don't think DJ knows this, but I'm copying what I'm like. I'm kind of like eyeing him, see how he interacts with people. Yeah, I was like, all right, that's good. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that at the trailer.
No, I mean that's kind of what you do. You know what I mean? Like I talk to a lot of like musicians and stuff like that, but we always talk about like this like emulation until you find like the way you do it. But like you find like someone else doing something. I'm like, yeah, I like that. You know what I mean? And let me try it out. And then sometimes it works cookie cutter where you're like, oh, I can copy exactly what they do and it works in mine. But then you realize. Most of the time you realize like, oh, I got to customize it to like me and my type of business. But yeah, talking to people, it's just creating that comfort. And like the thing about that is that for me, especially like sometimes it's on and sometimes it's not, you know what I mean? I get some people like that. I have my days where like I'm out and about, and as weird as it is, because of the podcast, because of like a lot of the noise rat stuff, like I don't realize how much my face is out and stuff, like in videos and stuff all the time. So people like at shows have recognized me and been like, oh, like you're like this dude from Noise Rat. And then I'm like, oh, like I went out today and wasn't planning to like, oh, like it almost feels like customer service wise, but like so sometimes I get caught off guard and I'm just like, oh, I
had the same interaction. I work for a beer distributor now, Monday through Friday. And so I go to a lot of bars, any place where they have beer on draft, and I clean out their stuff, service their stuff. And one girl says, hey, is this you on Snapchat? And so on Snapchat, it's grown. Maybe on average, I get 1,500 views when I post something. Okay. And to some baddies out there, and that might be rookie numbers. But I worked for that. Yeah. But I was like, oh man, I kind of gotta be careful what I post, because people out here seeing my schlong when I post a Speedo thing.
Yeah, wrestling promo.
Yeah, it's not the first. I love wearing that Speedo. Yeah.
It's like not the first, and it won't be the last.
It's not
brother.
Gonna be the last.
No, yeah. You have to like figure out but one thing I've come to terms with, I kind of had to, is that in the trajectory, in the stuff that I always imagined myself doing, like I will have to be, quote unquote, a public figure, like because of what I want to do. I'm like, it's something that again, like even at this level where I'm at, like I don't think like I'm doing crazy numbers or anything like that, but I've already had people, like strangers, walk up to me and see that they've seen my stuff, that they've listened to the podcast, that they've been to our shows and things like that. And I'm like, oh, I gotta be on it. You know what I mean? Like when I'm out, like I gotta be able to, like the normal work-life balance, or like, separating some time for yourself. But if I'm at a show, like I gotta be expected to, like, if someone comes up to me, like I need to be not just like nice and friendly with that, because I think I'm that regardless, but like I also I represent those things. I represent Noise Right. I represent the podcast, my brand. Like, so I need to be about that brand, and not like, part of me still wants to be like, oh, yeah, I'm doing a podcast or this, but I need to just like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm doing, like, we're doing some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
you're too in deep to half-ass it.
To half-ass it, you know what I mean? And that's the only part that I think that I like am half-assing, is the personality part of it. It's like, no, I gotta, like, I am this. Like, I need to be this, But yeah, with how personal you are into your business and like your thing, like you also are like that same face, you know what I mean? Like you were doing all your promo, so that's you out there. Like when people go to the truck, like they're seeing you. So yeah, that's the same kind of like representation. When you're there, like, yeah, what kind of image are you giving to those people to come back? Because a lot of people come back for food, yes, but like if you get food and like dude's cool in the back, like, oh, you can come kick it, you be like whatever, like I feel like that sells it.
A lot of the time when we were doing it from my backyard, people, I tell people, hey, just wait in your car. Just text me your order and I'll run it out to you. Yeah. But then some people would be comfortable enough to walk all the way to the backyard. And I'm like, yo, what's up? Then I'm a back turn, like, yeah, because just sneak up on me.
Yeah.
Man, I had to be so. You know how secure you have to be to put your address out there online to complete strangers, man.
Yeah.
And then expect them to not rob you.
It's crazy. I mean, I think about, probably should have thought about it more, but like, I mean, like I said, before this place, the podcast was out of our house. Both times, like the apartment, and I was like, address, here you go. Like, come on. And I swear, like, I'm going to say like 35 to 40% of the people I was meeting for the first time, like on the podcast, you know what I mean? Like right here, like me and you, like we're meeting like for the first time, like, but I've grown so like accustomed to it. And I'm like, yeah, like, that's the way it's going to happen. Like I meet people online or whatever, and then you have to talk to them. But I should probably think about that a little more, but I mean, it is what it is.
It did give people a little bit sense of security too at the same time. It's like, cause if the food's ass, they know where I live.
Have you, I mean, you said that first time, like people didn't like it, but like now, like that you're in your like stride and stuff like that, do you ever have like any people like,
man, I've had a couple hiccups.
Negative reviews.
I've had hiccups. If you go look on Facebook reviews, you'll see there's one where it said the guys, it was back in 2021. He said the food was undercooked. It was, and I know exactly why. It was. I remember that day. It was the winter. I'm making excuses, but I should have been on it. But it was winter, and I had a shitload of people come out because everything was closed, and I was just trying to get people out of the street because I'm trying to be also on good terms with my neighbors too. Like, why are all these cars out here? It's like, oh, they'll be in and out in like 2 minutes. I promise you. And then I kind of rushed the order, and I gave him. It looked all right, cool. It's floating. It's gold. Let's go. And I packed it up, gave it to him, moved on to the next, and it wasn't fully cooked. Like, god damn, I lost the guy. And then put that up on the Facebook page reviews, and then another one. It was at the Bishop Bazaar. It's a market that we do in Dallas a lot. Shout out to them for being okay with me doing it from the start. Yeah, but. It was, again, we got swapped, got hella orders, and I was just trying to move them out fast, and I let a couple of them slip where they weren't fully cooked. You know when you see the veins. Yeah. So to some that's cooked, but to some people it's not.
Yeah. I just saw someone like review something, but that's what happened. And I'm like, and they were showing like the little red thing. I'm like, well, that's technically cooked, right? But I guess it's.
Because I'd stab it with our little temperature pen.
Yeah.
And if it reads over 160, all right, cool, it's good to go. But sometimes you got to push it a little bit deeper to get that right temp.
The most accurate reading. Yeah.
So, and then same thing again happened actually a couple of days ago, where I grabbed the wrong basket. So normally whenever we get a rush, we designate one basket to start getting ready for the next few orders. That way, like, it'll take like 10 minutes, and then the right basket would be like, all right, cool, it's almost done. It just needs 2 minutes. Reflash it, get it really crispy, and then move it on. I thought that all of them were like done.
Just needed the
So that ended up getting into his stuff. He said the mac and cheese was good, but I told him I'll make it right. So I promise you, dog, I'll make it right.
I'll make it right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna interrupt this real quick. I'm gonna run and take a piss really quick.
It's the beatboxes, dog.
The beatboxes got it.
They run through you. January 25th. I don't know when this is gonna come out. January 25th, Matt War Pro Wrestling. We're gonna be at Southside Preservation Hall. I really want to get in the ring with Kelly's Onion Burgers, but they never opened my DM. Maybe they're just a little too busy. That'd be pretty badass if we can, do a little something in the ring. What's another promo I got going on? Leo's Churro Bar Valentine's Day Market. It's gonna be at the South Main Park on Main Street. Just go. It's by downtown Main Street. You'll see a big ass white churro truck. There's gonna be hella tents there. February 10th. Damn, you frying chicken over there? Pissed loud as fuck. What else do we got coming up in February? We will be at. We're gonna be at a local brewery. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll remember it eventually. But we're gonna be at a brewery in Bedford. Come weekends, if you can't find us somewhere, we're gonna be in the east side of Fort Worth, and if we're not in the neighborhood, we're probably outside of the Tub Bar over on Riverside on 3rd Street. What else do we got going on? Harris Hospital, shout out to them. I can see why those dates are really booked. That we were hella busy.
At Harris?
Yeah.
I saw you posted up. Like, do you do that often at the hospital?
That was our first time being there.
Yeah.
I initially joined the Facebook group in September. Scoured around for an email, trying to see who was the point of contact with them. Finally found it. Emailed her. Got a response in October, and we booked the date for the last weekend. So that's how booked they were. Since November, December up until then. And then the schedule came out for the next 2 months, and I clicked on it maybe 30 minutes after the email was sent, and most of the weekend dates were already filled. I was like,
wow.
I see why it was so hard for me to get in there.
Y'all get booked super bad. But yeah, I mean, and then you were out there the day like it froze the night before, and like a lot of stuff was like shut down that Friday night because
so
ended up clearing up like quite a bit. But yeah, it's like a lot of stuff.
The other food truck ended up canceling, so it was just me and my brother out there whipping it up, and I wasn't nearly as ready. I thought it was just gonna be maybe we're gonna get like 20 orders in the span of 4 hours.
Yeah.
Which is okay for us. We don't complain too much unless, man, we have had some bad experiences going to events. But as far as Harris Hospital, it was nonstop from the minute we turned on the lights to 2 a.m. because we legally can't sail past 2 a.m. either.
Really?
It was like last call.
Interesting. Is that just like in general for like food?
That's a Tarrant County for permit thing.
Interesting. Is that just like for like food trucks in general? Oh, okay.
So the hours that food trucks can't operate from is from 2 to 6 a.m. So that block of window can't. Anything after that, free game.
Interesting. There's 4 hours that they make you shut down. I wonder why.
So I guess for like the same reason bars can't serve past 2 a.m.,
I mean, but people aren't getting drunk.
Right?
What you put in the chicken? I don't know.
little Henny hot wings.
Henny hot wings. There you go. That's your ideas. Yeah, you come up with some cool ass ideas. Like I've seen the, which I'll be on perfect transparency, I guess at this point. Like I still haven't tried this stuff, and you know why? Like because I've been trying to lose weight, and I know if I go there, I've seen the way DJ talks. When DJ talks about the truck, I swear that dude is salivating when he's telling me about this shit. It's just like it's so fucking good. Like he's like very like ecstatic about it. And then just like I've seen it, like the peanut butter and jelly like has chicken sandwich.
PB&J chicken sandwich.
That shit looks bomb as
it's great,
fuck.
man.
Like it looks so fucking good.
It's peak chicken sandwich. It's up there with, the classic CFA.
Yeah.
Popeyes. Whenever the chicken sandwich wars were going on, I wanted to throw my hat in, but I didn't have anything to compete.
Now you feel like you do.
Yeah. Now I can compete. I sold the idea from a restaurant that ended up shutting down in 2 months, unfortunately for them. Rocket Roosters. They are actually maybe 2 miles. They were actually posted up 2 miles from here, across on the parking lot of that pool hall over here.
Rusty's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had their PB&J chicken sandwich. So I went there. It was the week they opened up, and I was all right, cool, new chicken spot. What do we got? I was like on lunch break, and nothing really caught my eye until I saw that PB&J chicken sandwich. Like this is it. So I ordered it, and it was the chicken patty that you get from a high school lunch.
The little circle. Yeah, I know.
You know exactly
what I mean. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it wasn't even the spicy one either. It was just like the plain one. I was like, okay. And it was on plain white bread, the thinnest amount of PB, thinnest amount of jelly, and just regular white bread. Yeah. And I was like, I got excited for this. Then I sent them a DM through the wing page, so hopefully they respond or something. And like, hey, I just came by. I love the concept. It was pretty cool. They never opened it. I was like, okay, I guess I won't feel bad about stealing this idea.
Like I was about to start a conversation with y'all, see what y'all thought, but no, the one that you've put out looks fucking fantastic. Like the chicken is
Texas toast toasted with mayo. That's the secret to getting a really good toast is mayo.
So I haven't tried that yet, but I've seen it so many times when people talk. Normally, it's like a grilled cheese talk when people are talking about it, and they're like, "No, people use mayo." I'm
mayo, that's the way to go.
I don't know why I've never tried it. It's not like I'm skeptical about mayo or anything like that.
I mean, all mayo is oil, egg, and
I love all those things. So
it's that.
Does it just crisp up better? I guess.
Yeah, it crisp up really, really nice. And then you get that buttery taste to it too, as opposed to using actual butter.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I need to try it.
On Texas toast.
Yeah.
Jalapeno. That was so. I was gonna put pickles on there. I was like, I don't really like pickles. Like, jalapenos is the way to go.
So do you when you're talking about that spot, do you go to a lot of new places that opened up and stuff like that and do similar stuff to you, and you're just like, oh, let me go see what's up over here?
Yes, it kind of try to steal their. So because I go around to a lot of bars and restaurants while I'm at work too, so I see. We're all getting the same stuff from the same distributors. If they're not getting it from Benny Keith, they're getting it from Restaurant Depot, or they're getting it from Cisco. It's just a matter of how they put it all together.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cooks too, they're Mexican. They're there to shoot the shit. They're there early. Some of them just they're trying to get through the day. Some of them want a little bit more interaction or appreciation, and it's kind of get their secrets out from them.
Yeah.
One thing once I got the food truck, hey man, how do you clean the griddle? Because I've worked plenty of fast food jobs, but not where I'd actually had to clean an industrial grill.
Yeah.
So they kind of showed me their tips on how to get it all shiny and stuff. Man, I really appreciate it. You don't know how much I appreciate this thing. It got black within the minute I used it.
There's I feel like there's so many things to a food truck or restaurant business or whatever, but then there's stuff like that, oh, I gotta clean this, and it's gotta, be up to a certain standard or whatever. But I know because I've gotten lost in those videos sometimes where people are cleaning griddles, and it's an entire probably, oh, I do this, and everyone's got their own little recipe kind of
some people don't using chemicals. Some people just use the one thing I learned from a Facebook group is using lemon juice.
Yeah,
lemon juice just clears it right up. Wow, I would have never thought. Or vinegar. Those two are easy wipe away type things, but I'm trying to keep it sparkly, shiny. If I'm gonna get inspected by my drill instructors.
Yeah, I mean, damn, that's a good standard to be put up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every Monday. I didn't do it tonight because I came over here, but every Monday, I pull I got out the trailer, power wash everything, try keeping it looking brand new, because that's it's my baby.
Yeah,
it's my money maker.
No, that's when you
keep it up to
think about it that way. I mean, one thing. Should be a point of pride for yourself because, like you said, it is your baby. It is your thing. Not only is it your business, like I feel like you put your heart into this shit. So it's like, oh, I got to make sure it reflects exactly like how much I care about. Again, it's being like, you got to put the best like foot forward especially when it comes to like something you're creating.
Kind of circling back to what we were saying earlier about finally not being afraid to go all in on this. Mm-hmm. So when I decided like, cool, I don't want to, I was still in that little heartbreak mode where I felt like a loser and like I'm just doing it to pass the time. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, cool. For this, I'm gonna give it my all. You know, whatever happens. Yeah. And I'll just try to stay as consistent as I could with it. You know, I have my droughts, like where I don't know what to post, or there's the things that are trending are just a little bit too cringe to imitate. It's like, all right, we'll let this go for now. Nice. Until we get like a nice little inspiration. Like, all right, cool. And then that's when I start posting like 3 things a day. And I'm like, well, that's it. I should have saved out some of these things.
Yeah. Yeah, pacing in content world, like when I get ideas, like I want to do them all at once, and then you're like, oh, I gotta figure out how to put and like some of the stuff that I don't even think about. Like one guy was talking the other day, and I'm debating on trying it, and it's a simple idea. It's like if you create like content videos for me, like I have a format. Like if you look at like Nord's stuff, like I'm like in a specific spot and I'm talking to like camera and this and that. That's one type of video. But he was talking about like, oh, like wear a uniform. And he's like, I don't mean like it's got to have your branding or anything like that. He's like, just wear a very similar thing or have one thing that is the same throughout. He's like, and it'll help people like recognize you. So it came from like there's this guy that does like music advice for like bands coming up or whatever. And he's always holding a cigar. I don't think he's ever smoking it. I just think he's just like holding it. So he's talking into the camera like, your band needs to do this and this and that. But every fucking video, he's holding that thing. And then he's like, yeah, like people start recognizing, like they don't maybe remember my face or anything, but they remember a guy talking about shit, holding a fucking cigar and doing this. And it's all like a similar place. And I'm like,
do you ever look at your analytics on, no. You try not to?
No, I fucking hate numbers like that. Yeah. Like, even when like stuff does well, like, I sometimes get to a place where I base my value on like how well something did. So I try to lean away. I'm getting better at like, oh, this doesn't like reflect on me or whatever. It's just, I'm always like, I can never guess the algorithm. So all I'm going to do is put out stuff like, and then, you know, if it catches the right attention.
I try figuring out, it's like, all right, cool. So these memes are popping off right now. So for a little bit, we're just like, we turned into a meme page. Yeah. And that's kind of what like the main restaurants are doing too. Mm-hmm. Like you'd see a Wingstop, Popeyes, a Red Lobster. They bombard you with memes, and then once they get the following up, they hide all that, and then they make the page look aesthetic to where like they have the zoom ins of their food and stuff. Yeah, but that's big time type stuff, where like they have a majority type of follow. But yeah, I'm trying to then I start copying a little bit more of the local mom and pop type places, the ones that, you know, maybe have kind of like me, you know, they started from the crib and all that, and they're doing their own thing. And it's like, okay, now they're genuine still, and they're showing off the food. And I tried doing the same thing too. So those videos, they get maybe 3K views on them, and it's the ones where I'm just like trying to like the long format videos that are over a minute, where it's me explaining something. Those, for some reason, people like listening to me yap.
And then you like, some stuff gets just pushed out more than the other. Like have you seen the new like Instagram? Like now we're getting into like just thing, but in Instagram they have a new thing called like trial, like on the thing. Did you see what like that was or is?
I tried it with one of the memes I posted. It was the plankton doing the that it did get pushed out a little bit more, but not enough to. I mean, that one's still, I'm still getting like views from it right now, but I was like, okay, I still kind of don't get it right now. Yeah, I should let me not play with them. I just keep on doing what I'm doing right now. And
that's like what I'm trying to. I know that will do well, but I also don't want to like become a meme page. So I'm like, okay, like, so you got to do these. And I still like, I go, but if I have an idea and I think that's funny, or like one of the team members has an idea and it's whatever, entertaining, funny, or they think it's this, I'm like, then yeah, let's push it out. Like, it doesn't mean like that's our normal content. I go, but if it's a good idea, like, and it fits in the realm of the stuff that we do, then fucking do it. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff works out, some of the stuff doesn't.
I lost
random.
There's a couple events that I wasn't accepted to because my page was not family friendly. I was like, you know what?
See, yeah, that's the thing. And people, I got the question a lot more when we would start the podcast, and people would be like, would cuss on it, and then be like, oh wait, can I cuss on this? And I'm like, yeah, like, and I don't think about it, but I guess that's a thing that YouTube like demonetizes you for.
The first
like
15 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, minutes. Okay, like, so that's why people like ask or whatever. But I'm like, oh, I don't like limiting stuff down to like, shaping it to where it looks.
It can be bleeped out.
Stage a little bit, and it can be bleeped out. And it's not the biggest deal in the world, right? But also, like, I go, no, go ahead, and like be yourself. You know what I mean? I don't want anything limiting yourself. I did have that kind of backfire recently. So I started doing like actual interviews, because like when we just moved, like this is the second podcast that we're doing like outside of the house we were in. So I'm like, I want to do something while we're here, but I don't want to figure out having to find a spot and having to do this like right now. Like I was going through like a lot. I'm like, I can do something from the house. So I'm like, so I started doing like band interviews like with other people. But I did one with an artist, and we talked, but I ran it like the podcast. So I did have interview questions. I had it short. It was like, I think we talked for maybe like half an hour, if that. But I'm in the podcast the same way. I don't cut it. Like it doesn't like skip around like a thing. Like you can't feel like it's just.
I was listening to a couple of yours and like, all right, what kind of questions do I want to ask this guy? And I wanted to ask this to you this earlier. I was like, what moment, if you can go back to any moment in music history, what would you want to be in to experience it live for the first time? In music
history? Like
any point.
Like all time or my history?
Like in all time.
In all time? Oh,
it's a hard one, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Like even just iconic moments. I think maybe like it's not even like my favorite artist or anything but like I think Woodstock would have been like a crazy like experience. Like I used to be really big into Santana like when I was a kid, and I remember hearing the story of like the Woodstock performance where he was like high as fuck on acid, and his playing was him thinking his guitar was a snake. And he was just trying to control it. And that's what he's like playing and stuff. Like it's fucking. And you look at the video and it looks fucking crazy. And he's like, yeah, I legitimately saw a snake like attacking me. So that's me just trying to stop. I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's wild. And like I remember because I read like his little like biography or whatever, and then like he's had interviews where he talks about it all the time. Maybe that just like for like an experience. And then I'm trying to think of like a specific like performance.
I had another question because I was asking myself like, man, what are we gonna talk about? Because I saw that all your interviews are with musicians and people are in the music industry, and like if you ask me about music, all we're gonna talk about is Tyler the Creator and Brockhampton. But
hey,
that's nice. What I love,
What do you think of Tyler's latest album?
I love everything Tyler. Even if it was ass, I'd love it.
Yeah. Is he like one of your artists where you're like, just like everything he puts out, like I'm
everything?
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of bias to that, but
dude, we all have. If you get to a point where everything you're defending as like analytically, like it's so fucking boring and frustrating. It's just like, oh, I can't tell people that I like something because they're gonna tell me that it's trash or whatever. I was like, yeah, and like you're saying, like I'm gonna fuck if something's trash. Like if I like it, I like it. You know what I mean? Like
I had another good question that I was gonna ask you.
Sure.
It was what song did you first hear that you felt altered your brain chemistry, where like you had like a new crease develop in your head, like, oh, this is who I am now. This changed the trajectory of my life.
Dang, I got a few. The biggest one that I always name, just like iconic songs that I remember. Like this is how I remember my childhood. Like so, my first like iteration into really music was like my mom's music, but that was before I paid attention to music. I just knew artists, right? Or knew music was a thing, and it was like stuff like Luis Miguel, Juan Gabriel, stuff like that, But I didn't really pay attention. My first song that I remember, like, oh, I like this song. It was like I got into hip hop, and it was Forgot About Dre with like Dr. Dre and like Eminem. And I remember that song and being like, I like this song a lot. Like, wasn't really like super big music head, but I was like, I knew, and it was always like, I always had somebody that was showing me music. It was never like, I never had anywhere to discover it myself, you know what I mean? So like that was one. So I was like super into hip hop. Now my transition into like when I moved into like anything rock music or stuff like that was my cousin. So this one was my friend. The other one was my cousin. My cousin showed me Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit, which was what's considered new metal. So that's like at the root of it, it's like a mixture of hip hop and metal like together. So like it's got these cadences, like people were like kind of like rap sometimes. So it was a good mixture. But that one was like the first time I was ever like, oh shit, okay, like rock music's kind of cool. Like it was always like too crazy for me or whatever. And then there was stuff like this band called A Day to Remember, which got a little heavier, but still had like pop punky voices, like singing. But like iconic songs that I remember like changed something in me. There's a song called Hasta que te conocí by Juan Gabriel, and it was the like at the time like one of these like raw expressions of like emotion in a song, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know you could be this vulnerable when it came to like music. You know what I mean?
I think that's my little brother.
Here we
Let me
go.
make sure he's
Not getting scammed.
he can wait.
Yeah, we're almost through. We've been talking for a minute, but yeah, like that was one of my things, and I remember because it's like this random fucking moment, and I must have been like 16 or something, and I was like at home by myself, and my mom had bought a DVD of a concert, like a Juan Gabriel concert, and I still remember it's Juan Gabriel Palacio de Bellas Artes, and it's like this like big concert hall in Mexico. But I watched this like 2-hour concert. And I remember my mom came home and I'm like fucking bawling my eyes out, like sitting on the couch. She's, what the fuck is wrong? And I'm like, this dude, man, I don't know what he's doing. But
like,
it was
sentient now, Ma.
Yeah, I was like, it's what I'd been searching. Because I had been in a band, I think like the band we were talking about, Underblend, like we had been in iteration of it for a while. And we wrote like some songs, but I was always thinking of how do I write for an audience? I was like, what are they gonna like? What can I was thinking in making general terms. So like, how do you make a song that makes everybody happy? You know what I mean? And that moment right there altered it because I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna write honest as fuck music. And somebody out, like this guy doesn't know me. Like, and he just wrote a song that like, I'm fucking like, you know, getting very emotional about. I go, and I don't think he did. I mean, he didn't do that on purpose. Like, I go think so. That altered me to be like, to create more vulnerability in my music, but also like, why I say altered my brain chemistry is because since then I've been chasing this feeling of being genuine and being real, and like everything that feels like it's fabricated or like fake, or like when we think about even like in content terms, when something feels like very phony or very like, oh, I'm just copying somebody else or something like that, I fucking like it makes my skin crawl and I hate this. I'm turning it off. Like I don't want to see it because it feels fake. So I think from that moment on, I've been chasing that. I was like, so everything that I do, I want to make sure it's a very real reflection of who I am, like of who I am, what I value, like stuff like that. So it doesn't feel, again, phony. Whether you agree with it or not, that's a whole different thing. You know what I mean? But at least
I was wondering, it's like, man, what was it what high is he chasing that he's building this? Because it can't just be just, oh, it's whatever. I feel like there's I know there's something there that's like you want to show you love something, and you want other people to love it just as much as you do.
It's because I discovered this. I don't think it's last year. I think it's the year before. I was talking to a band, and they were kind of like flipped it on me like you're doing right now. They were asking me stuff, and I'm like, they kind of asked something along the lines of something like, "Wow, you know, why do you do this and that?" And you know, I'm never really focused on that. And then when I sat there, I'm just talking to them again, and that's why I like this format, because it's very, again, vulnerable, genuine. You get to like say whatever. And at that time, they asked me something, and I like had to think about it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just finding out now, like, I feel like at a certain point, maybe I didn't feel as heard or listened to, or that the shit that I was saying or felt mattered. So this space is me offering that to whoever fucking comes on here. Like, somebody gives a fuck. Somebody is actually listening to you. Like, so if, you know, whatever your story is, whatever you're chasing, like, that shit matters. You know what I mean? It's not everybody's like, whatever, like, cup of tea or this and that, or maybe they don't like get you, or maybe they don't like you or whatever, but that doesn't diminish what you're chasing. You know what I mean? Like, just because I don't understand you or whatever, like, if there's something like, I'm like, I don't get why he does that. Even if you explain it to me and I'm like, you know what? Like, that's not something I would do. Like, that doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
People are rooting for you to fail?
Yeah. People rooting for me to fail?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Someone laughed. Actually, Bernice, I recorded, like, I don't know if you saw it, like, I put a little video where it was like, he's like, oh, y'all thought it was over, blah, blah, this and that. I'm like, and she, like, literally, Bernice stops recording. He's like, are you making up haters? I'm like, kind of. Like, because I've been very, very lucky. Now, I don't know. I don't know behind closed doors, you know what I mean? If someone's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of that is just me. Like, I get hella imposter syndrome all the time where I'm just like, like, I've had people show up when we were in the apartment, like, show up to the podcast apartment, leading all the way up until we start talking. My brain is like, they don't fucking want to be here. Like, they're doing this out of pity or this and that, blah, blah. Literally, my brain used to be, like, really, really toxic in that form. But, yeah, you get over it because I start doing this and I'm like, yeah, either, whether they're here or not, like, they chose to be here. It's like, and I'm doing this because I like it, you know what I mean? And I'm offering like that. So that's a certain point. Again, being genuine, like, I want to make sure it's not fake. And then, like, I don't ever, like, shy away from the fact that there is some sort of, like, vanity in this, you know what I mean? I get to, like, put my face out there, like, as much as possible and, like, talk. But again, it's me giving myself the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, not only, like, do I know that what you're saying, like, matters, like, people care about us and that, like, I need to believe that. Same thing. Give myself the same grace of, like, oh, people also care, like, what I'm doing, you know what I mean? And hopefully, like, people are out there, like, rooting for you. But at the end of the day, it's just chasing, like, something that's making me happy and making me feel like I have, like, a purpose. Like, this is the first thing I've done where, like, genuinely it felt that way. Where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm doing something that matters. I don't know what the scale is. I go, but it matters. You know what I mean?
It does, man. It does.
Yeah.
I promise you it does.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But, I mean, same thing with you, like I said, and this is from, like, a person, like, standpoint. And just even, like, talking to you now, seeing, like, what you've done. Here, again, like, it's cool to hear this shit, like, from people that, you know, are... It's good when people, like, that are... when you're not around, are talking about you, and we're talking about you, it's, like, good.
I blush a little bit when I hear that. I blush a little bit on the inside. And externally, you telling me that DJ talks about me, I was like, oh.
No, like, he literally, like, not, again, like, your food was the first thing he was talking about, but then he was like, when are you, he's literally, like, told me, like, and this was, like, he knew we were on a break from the podcast. Like, we moved, like, and I was like, I'm not going to do it till January. But, like, I think he's told me multiple times, like, I was like, bro, do you need to have Fluff on there? Like, why, when are you gonna have Fluff? And I'm like, when the podcast comes back, I promise you, I'm not ducking him or anything like that. I go, I'm just not doing the podcast, like, right now. And he's like, okay, like, it's like, he's got a really cool story, like, he's real cool, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, like, that's what I want, but that's important to me, you know what I mean? And it's, I take that on the other end, too. I want to make sure that when people talk about me, like, outside the room, I can't control it, but hopefully I've done everything I can to make whatever they say positive. You know what I mean? Like, I can't control what they say, but if I'm comfortable with, like, everything I've done, like, I'm good with it. Like, so if you talk about it, if I fuck up, you can talk about it. If I, you know, do something good, talk about it. I don't care. Like, but I need to make sure I'm good with me, you know? And that's kind of how I've, like, tried to lead most of the things. Again, no one's perfect. Like, everyone fucks up and this and that, whatever. But yeah, that's what this is about. It's literally just about showcasing, like, people doing cool shit, showcasing people chasing their stuff, hustling after it, putting in the effort. And like I said, from just everything that I've seen, heard about you, and even right now, this talk, like, you can tell, like, you're someone, like, chasing something, like, in a very, like, genuine and honest way. And, like, you're, again, putting in your all for it, you know what I mean? And starting from... I like the attitude of starting with what you have, you know, like, figuring it out, doing it out of the backyard, figuring it out.
A lot of the time, I was envious and jelly of people who were doing it like me, and then they blew up off the algorithm using that formula, you know, doing it from their house, losing their job, and, you know, then that the algorithm picked up on that, and then they ended up blowing up, and I was like, man, the same shit happened to me. Where's my blow up?
Yeah.
And I was a little bit bitter about that, and not that I was hating on them. I'm naturally a hater because I'm trying to be number one at something, because, you know, throughout life you feel like you've been losing at stuff, and once you finally get a taste of what it feels like to win, you just want to keep on getting it.
How to keep this going? Yeah. No, that's super real. And I feel like I've always been doing that. I've always done it in. I've always found success in, like, group efforts, but then, like, again, like, it's probably something, like, I need to figure out or whatever. But that success shouldn't take away from that success. Like it being a group effort, you know what I mean? Like, so I wanted something that was mine, you know, and that's always like been a theme for me. Like I want this idea of being like worth it, of having earned like something. And I'm like, I want to work hard for something and I want that shit to be mine. Like, you know what I mean? Which again, double-edged sword. Cause sometimes I'm like, I don't want anybody to fucking touch this. Like it's mine. But then there's stuff like I've gotten over. I'm like, you know what? I need help. Like there's no shame in like asking for help or getting a collaborative effort. You know, again, this shit wouldn't be happening. Like DJ edits all the audio for all these podcasts. You know, like I don't do those. Like I do video and stuff. I get help. Obviously everybody that comes on here like is a big help. You know, it's not on my own. You know what I mean? Like people. Make that choice, you know, and I'm very appreciative of like the people that take the time, like you taking the time off today, you know what I mean? Like you were saying, like today's like your day, like kind of clean out the, you know, the food truck and do this. Like there's something else you could be doing. Like there's always something like anybody else could, like in general, could be doing at any time, you know? So the fact that you like take some time out to do this is always like greatly appreciated. And I try to be as helpful as I can with anything like that.
It's funny you say that too, because this is DJs. I'm kind of glazing you right now because of there's this one night where I was sitting there at the bar stitching together a video, and you walk over to the guy like a couple seats over from me, next to me. He says, if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be? And that question kind of like resonated with me a lot. It's like, where would I rather be right now, here in this moment? And every time I tried thinking about it, I was like, selfishly, I don't want to be anywhere else. I think I'm supposed to be here in this room with everybody here in this bench. I'm supposed to be here with you right now. No, that's like, and I kind of want to ask that to everybody. Where would you rather, if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be?
Man, if you ask me, I'm in the same kind of mindset as you. Because of the way, like literally what I was just talking about, where I feel like things need to be earned. Like I can't wish myself into a better situation because it'll feel like I will literally live with the idea of like, I don't deserve this because I didn't work to get here. You know what I mean? So if I wish like, oh, you know, I wish I was like super huge, like in this podcast, I wish I was like fucking rich or this and that, all this stuff. I'm like, I would have the feeling of like, dude, I didn't work my way to get here. Like, so why am I enjoying this? You know what I mean? Like I always, maybe about, what's that, 2015. So it's been about 8 years where I really like made a conscious decision, and always like it was a situation with a girl, but it was like, you know what, everything fucking like,
I think we do all our things because of girl.
Yeah, it was like after that fact where it was the first time I wasn't like, oh, they did this. I am fucking tired of blaming someone else for where I'm at. I go, it fucking sucks. I go, so I'm gonna worry about the shit that I fucked up. I go, how did I end up here? And let's work on that. And he's like, you know, but everything that happened, I was supposed to be there. Like, you know what I mean? Like I talked to, like, I just got engaged last year, you know what I mean? And me and like my fiance talk all the time. And I kid around because I always see this video where like this guy's like walking in with this girl, and then like he's like, oh yeah, you know, I love her, and blah blah blah. And then he like grabs her and he's like, what took you so long? You know, I was out here getting played and this and that. And I mess with her around that. But I like, when I like honestly reflect on that, I'm like, bro, you would have met me like 5 years ago. I go, this shit would never have worked out. I go, because of the person I was, you know. So I feel like I'm where I need to be, like at the right time, like whether stuff works out or it doesn't. You take away so much from everything if you pay attention. You know what I mean? Like you could just go through and like fucking ignore it, like I did for years, and ignored every little like bullshit that I did. It was more like the world is against me. And then literally when that shift happened, where I was like, oh, you know what? Fuck what the world does to me. Like, worry about what I do to myself. And then it's just been fucking like positive after that. Sure, it dips and then, but it's been an upward trajectory.
It feels like I keep on asking you questions still because I'm trying to get to know you too, man.
Yeah,
so
man.
I had another because I was this whole morning. I'm like, all right, I don't want to be a boring guy, so I'm coming up with really good questions that I would want to be asked. So, if you had fuck you money, what would be your first selfish buy?
Selfish
for you?
buy.
Like nothing matters right now. This is for you. You're at the top. This is, you know, Osceola earned this.
I'd buy a venue.
A venue?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you call it?
Ooh. I have no idea what I would call it.
Sit on that.
It would be something cool. So it is selfish to a degree, but it is non-selfish to a degree, because with like what we do in Noise Route, like a venue to what like I'm thinking of is not just like a place to put on shows for me. Like I would like, and we've talked about this like as a conglomerate goal, to have like a place where we could throw shows, we could host podcasts at, we could have like a studio for that. We could have like even some like sort of like places for bands to crash, like when they're in tour, like do the most like cool fucking compound looking thing for like bands. It's just, I think, what would hold everybody together, just to have a space, because that's the biggest thing, you know what I mean? Like,
that doesn't sound too selfish to me, dog.
All right, I gotta go super selfish.
Yeah,
let me
super
see.
selfish,
if I go
man.
super selfish,
this is for you, man.
Super fucking selfish. Let me see.
Whether it be like a pair of kicks, new frames, a boat, a yacht,
something stupid.
A car.
Let me see. Damn, it's hard to think of something just selfish. Just selfish. Because everything, I do think of everything. I am a bad like person to buy gifts for, because everything is very like, I need it to be practical. Otherwise, like, oh, I don't want to like you spending money on something I'm not gonna fucking use. Maybe shoes. Okay, maybe shoes. I've never been a sneakerhead or anything like that. But I do like. I just think like there's a certain part of the sneakerhead community that just feels like really toxic to me, where I'm like, oh, you gotta like a certain thing, or you can't wear the shoes a certain fucking way, and I like to wear the shit out of my shoes.
I feel that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to like get, I guess, some sort of like maybe Jordan sneaker, to have, but I want to wear the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? I guess I'll go with whatever Jordan's wearing in that Spider-Man movie.
Peace.
Bitch, yes, those are. I didn't even see your shoes. I swear to God, that's fucking crazy. Hold on, they're in there.
I love wearing my sneakers.
You do fucking have those.
I got are you familiar with Ralph Barboza?
Yeah,
I got him to sign these bitches.
Really? Yeah. That's fucking dope.
Where was he? Where were we? We were at Hyenas Comedy Club. It was a couple years back, so I was like, hell yeah. I hate that fact that I'm wearing them, but I think it's pretty cool. Yeah,
no, dude. Yeah, that's probably something I'm like. I don't ever like put money into. That's probably a selfish thing, because I never think I think I'm like it's dumb. Like I'm gonna spend money on this, but I think that's probably one thing I would buy myself, just for me to have fun, and like, oh, these are fucking tight. That and maybe one of those really fucking authentic lightsabers.
You know what I'll get?
What?
I'll get like a Paul Wall style grill.
Damn,
blinged out teeth and everything, man.
He's playing Billy Bob. Did you see that?
Yeah.
With Mexican OT.
So I always thought that was, ever since I was a kid, I always thought that was the coolest thing ever, just having a blinged out mouth.
Fucking, I remember, yeah, Paul Wall, seen him in, I think, it's probably like Grills with Nelly, the first time I really saw like what grills were. And yeah, that's fucking crazy. I love that he's like starting to do shit again. Or I think he's been doing stuff, but like starting to pop out a little bit more. But yeah, I saw that show at Billy Bob. I was like, that's fucking crazy. My friend told me about it this weekend. He's like, yeah, it's like $50 for the pit right now. I'm like,
it's pretty cool. Billy Bob's is pretty awesome. Huh?
Yeah, it's big as fuck. But I'm like, oh, that'd be fucking cool just to be at. Okay, like let me shoot some questions at you before we wrap up really quick. So music-wise, you were talking about. So Tyler is one of the, like your top people you listen to.
Yeah.
And then who was the other one you said?
Brockhampton. What I love right now, I'm listening to. Re-listening to a lot of Childish Gambino, Post Malone before the country era. I love that. He was my number one for the longest. What's it called? I was down the tip of my tongue. Paris, Texas. I love those guys a lot. Okay. They're like a mix of alt rock, hip hop.
Okay.
Really like those guys get me hype a lot. I was got to experience them live over at Camp Flognaw a couple years ago. I love that. Cali, a lot of hip hop stuff. That's my nature of taste of music, you know.
Nice. Childish Gambino was another like turning point in that like like artists for me. Someone showed them to me in college, and it was like the song "Freaks and Geeks," and that was like the first thing I listened to them, and then like I was like, I fucking need to listen to everything for this. So I've seen him, I think 3 times. I think one was in Austin, which was before any albums or anything like that. But he was cool because he did a double set. He did a comedy set, which I saw. So I saw him do like stand up, and then I saw him do like his performance.
Me and my brother got tickets to the show that was supposed to come to American Airlines Center, but he ended up postponing it.
Oh, when he broke his fucking like.
Yeah, I'm yet to see Childish Gambino live, possibly for the last time.
Dude, I am a little upset at that because I bought tickets to the American Airlines show that was supposed to be the last set, and then like. He was like, yeah, it's supposed to be the last tour. And then, like, he did another one. And I'm like, hey, bitch, like, I thought you were supposed to be done.
I would have saved this.
But I remember, no, it was cool because, like, I went and, like, I hadn't talked to this friend in forever, but he's the one that, like, we were, like, all about Childish Gambino, like, throughout, like, the whole trajectory. And that's who I went to, like, Austin to see him. That's who I saw, like, he did, like, the camp tour, and I saw that with him. But I was like, hey, I technically bought the ticket for some other girl, and then we broke up, and I was just like, hey, dude,
I feel that, man.
It happened to be his birthday, like around the time like we broke up, and I'm like, I got this for you, you know what I mean? But it meant a lot more. But the cool thing was like, I think he goes under the stage at one point and like goes through the hallways or whatever, and like he came down literally our row, so where he's like 5 feet away like from us and like just singing and shit. I'm like, nice, you know what I mean? And we've met him, like, so I have a picture like where I'm like hugging him, like
I'm jelly, man.
A long time. This is a long time ago. This was in Austin. He's like on Community and shit. But yeah, that was another artist where I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. I like this vulnerability aspect. But seeing that dude grow like into like the artist he is now is fucking great.
Ideally, I want to switch over the type of content we do on the Wing page to more of a cinematic type of videos. More horizontal screens and all that, even if it gets less views. But
it's just very like I mean, it's not on the same question, but that's a selfish thing that I like miss. I'm like, man, horizontal video, like it's just there's something satisfying about for me for horizontal video and for long format content. And long isn't even like really long form. I mean, this is like a long format content kind of thing, but what I mean is just like anything above like your normal like TikTok video, you know what I mean? Something you have to watch forever. But yeah, there's a shortening of attention spans that has happened. And I'm not even like talking about like, oh, everybody's attention. I'm talking about mine. And I know I've recognized it where I'm just like, dude, I'm not paying attention to shit because I'm ready to scroll to the next thing. Like I'm ready to scroll to the next thing.
Honestly, I've been awake for like the past 24 hours and I was dead man scrolling. I was like, well, I got to go to work in 2 hours.
Yeah, no. And that's another thing when you notice it, like, dude, like when I first noticed like my first like hour, I think it was like 2 hour session that I was just swiping. I'm like, I've been swiping on videos and not stayed on one longer than 30 seconds. How the fuck has it been 2 hours?
And I keep on telling myself I'm trying to find something to some sort of inspiration.
That's how I justify it. But if I'm honest with myself, I'm like, I'm just fucking wasting time. If I get an idea, it's luck. It's like, it's not because I was searching or researching or whatever. It's just because I happened upon something. I'm like, that's a good idea. You know what I mean? And I'll find artists and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, so something good came out of this. I was like, but what happens if I didn't find anything? I just wasted 3 hours or whatever, however long it is, just scrolling on here. So it definitely takes me like having to put it away, do it, whatever. But man, I gotta wrap this up. It's been a long time.
Time flies, dog.
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you how long it's been in a bit, but. Yeah, thank you for making the time, first of all, to come over here. Like I said, we're planning something. DJ and I are planning to do something kind of cool. Probably this upcoming week. So wherever you're set up, I'll ask you about here, where you're at. But yeah, dude, if you need absolutely anything, help with like making videos and stuff like that, hit me up. Like I'm always down to help.
I was resonating right now with your selfish money thing. I was like, if you making a venue, the camera's about to die.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, shit, that's mine. Hold on. We can talk about that in a second.
I'm about to start freestyling.
You're good.
Cool. I lost my train of thought. No. Okay,
you were talking about you were
resonating with what you were saying about your venue. I was like, okay, cool, because my long-term goal after I'm done paying off this food truck is I want to open up a food park where I can get hella people just plugging in. The thing that does suck, so I did park when we went to Dallas, it was the Shindig Food Park. it was probably one of our worst experiences. Not because I mean the venue was pretty new, and I don't want to put full blame on them. Like our experiences there, we were there for 10 hours and we made like 4 sales that whole day.
Wow.
Yeah, and then on the way back, it was raining. We hydroplaned with a trailer. That was scary, but around that time, that's when I realized, okay, I want to make my own spot where I can be, and I can invite others to plug them so they do their own thing, because there's only like 3 food parks in all of DFW. Like when I was like looking up like where can I set up, there's the Shindig, there's the Arlington Ghost Food Park yet. I'm trying to get them to email me back, but I guess I'm not big enough for them yet. Hope they're probably not gonna see this.
See?
Maybe they will, but email me back, y'all. I'm trying to get in on this.
See, that's not that selfish.
Yeah, but I'm trying to build something of my own, like because the east side of Fort Worth, it's they cleared off the projects that were over there. I live over there. They cleared out the projects too. They built these new apartments too, but they still got hella land that they're developing, and I'm trying to mark my territory where I came up from.
Yeah.
So if I can get my stick in the ground before somebody that didn't grow up in the area, and that's brownie points for the wingman.
Yeah. Hell yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Like, dude, what you literally were just talking about describes exactly why we started like Noise Rod. Was because like DJ and I played in a band, and DJ played in other bands before. We've all been in like the music scene. Bernice has like been in the music scene for like fucking forever. So we all literally was like, there's got to be a way to do it just a little bit better. You know what I mean? Or not even like trying to be like competition wise better, but like better for artists and like better for like simple shit, dude. Literally, like people thank us all the time for like, oh, you gave us like all the information we needed like 2 weeks ago, which is crazy because there's some like promoters like to this day where they'll give you like, oh, you need to be at the venue at 4 today. Like they won't tell you when you need to be at places for. They won't tell you like your pay scales. They won't tell you like all this stuff. And that was like, so that was one of our things. Like, oh, what if we just like be upfront with everybody about like how everything works and simple stuff. But we wanted to do something just because this community like brought us up. Like we like whatever, we all like range in like ages. Like DJ's like, I think he just turned 30. Like I'm 34. Bernice is like 26, I think. You know what I mean? So we all have experiences like seeing in a different like era.
I'm gonna be 28.
But we all like know the positives that it's brought to our lives. Like talking about like our closest friends, like people that we know and things like that. I'm like, we just want to be a part of it and we want to leave it better than we found it. You know what I mean? Like what can we add to it to enrich it? You know what I mean? But that same sentiment that you're talking about, that like you wanted to bring it, and especially like bring it to where we're from, you know what I mean? Because we're always dealing with everything being in Dallas, and we're like, dude, we're from here. Like, why can't we do some cool shit here? And that's, so we're very selfish a little bit where we bring stuff like to Fort Worth, because I'm like, yeah, it fucking matters. You know what I mean? Like this is where we live, and it's every time like I talk to people, real quick before wrap up, like there's someone that tried to interview us and interviewed me, and we talked about the music scene, and they're like, yeah, like Fort Worth's just country like out here, and I'm like, it's not though. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, that's what people like assume, like, oh, Fort Worth, it's just country. You know what I mean? They're not doing anything else. I'm like, bro, you just got to dig deep in the corners of this fucking city and you'll find some cool shit and different stuff. And like there's a lot of people that live here that don't know that like the talented artists that we have like here exist. You know what I mean? Because they're focused on like, oh, who's the radio gonna play? That's how I'll know what I like. I'm like, give some shit a shot and you'll find some cool shit like right around. Like, so that's why all this that we do is like, yeah, there's those people are here. Let me show you off to, like I said, like people like you know what I mean? Like you're here, and like important people just need to know about you. You know what I mean? Like that's all it is. Like, hey, because I feel like you feel the same way. It's like, oh, just give me a shot. Like I got you. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the attitude. It's just finding those opportunities. So that's why like we try to show off as many people that we like know and find, and be like, hey, it's like some more people need to know about this. But yeah, like anything you ever need, just let us know. Thank you for making the time today. Again, what's the Instagram for?
Fluffs Wings Tingz. Can I plug a couple of my favorite local hip hop artists? Shout out to Xavier II, Derillo, Young Cud, Robin Beats, and man, I'm sorry if I forget. I was thinking about you I was playing you on the way here, man. I'm sorry, but fuck what I say. Derillo, Young Cud, Maya Mars, Xavier, Robin Beats, and I think I got all y'all.
All right, cool. Sorry, I see that one about to die. But yeah, thank you for stopping by, Fluff. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This has been episode 127 with Fluffs Wings and Tingz.
As always, looking forward to being your wingman.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.